The stars looked different from the bridge of the U.E.'s Harmony. Ambassador Lisa Martinez stood at the large window, watching alien suns grow bigger as their ship moved through space. She had been waiting for this moment her whole life. Humanity was about to meet the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison walked up beside her. His uniform was clean and pressed, just like everything else on the ship. The Harmony was Earth's finest vessel, built for peace, not war. Its white hull gleamed in the starlight, and the blue Earth flag painted on its side showed their peaceful goals. "We'll reach Nexus Prime in 6 hours," Jake said. His voice was calm, but Lisa could see worry in his eyes. "Are you ready for this?" Lisa touched the small Earth pin on her jacket. Ready as anyone can be for first contact with 12 alien species. She tried to smile. No pressure at all. Dr. Amy Foster joined them at the window. She carried a tablet full of notes about alien cultures. Amy had spent 3 years studying every piece of information Earth had about the Galactic Council. "The Vorthik are the oldest species," she said, reading from her notes. "They've led the Council for over 2,000 years. Very formal, very. Proud of their traditions." Jake nodded. "And the others?" "The Kethari are warriors. They respect strength above all else. The Velquan are traders, always looking for profit. The others seem more reasonable." Amy scrolled through her notes. "I think our best chance is with the Helix. They're scientists like us." Lisa watched the stars spin slowly as the ship turned. Somewhere out there, 12 different species waited to judge humanity. Earth had worked so hard to prepare for this moment. They brought gifts of art, music, and science. They came in peace, asking only for friendship and trade. The Council controlled most of the galaxy. Their ships could travel between stars faster than anything Earth had built. Their technology was hundreds of years ahead of human science. But they had agreed to meet with a strange new species from the small blue planet. "Message coming in," said Lieutenant Ben Carter from his station. "It's from Nexus Prime." Jake walked to the center of the bridge, put it on screen. The main display flickered, then showed an alien face. The creature had gray skin, 4 eyes, and no nose that humans could see. When it spoke, the translation computer turned its words into English. "Human vessel Harmony, you are cleared to dock at Station 7. Follow the guide ships. Do not deviate from the assigned path. Any weapons must be declared immediately." Lisa stepped forward. "This is Ambassador Martinez of Earth. We carry no weapons. We come in peace to meet with the Galactic Council." The alien's 4 eyes blinked slowly. Noted, "Follow the guide ships." The screen went dark. Amy frowned. Not very friendly. "They don't know us yet," Lisa said. "That's why we're here." The next few hours passed slowly. 2 alien ships appeared beside the Harmony, sleek vessels that looked nothing like human designs. They led the Earth ship through a maze of space stations and orbital platforms around. Nexus Prime. The planet below was beautiful. 3 moons hung in its sky, and the continents were strange colors: purple, gold, and deep blue. Cities covered the land like glowing webs, connected by rivers of light that must be transportation systems. "Look at that," Jake whispered. "They've turned an entire world into a city." Nexus Prime was the capital of galactic civilization. Billions of beings from dozens of species lived and worked together. Ships from across the galaxy came and went, carrying goods, people, and ideas between the stars. Station 7 was huge, bigger than any structure humans had ever built. The Harmony looked tiny as it docked, like a rowboat next to an aircraft carrier. Through the windows, Lisa could see aliens walking in the station corridors. Some had fur, others had scales, and a few looked almost human, except for their size or color. "Remember," Lisa told her team, We represent all of humanity today. Show them our best." The docking tube connected with a soft thump. Lisa straightened her jacket one last time and walked to the airlock. Jake and Amy followed, along with Dr. Tony Walsh, the team's historian, and Captain Maria Santos, their military advisor. The airlock opened, and Lisa stepped into the station. The gravity felt strange, a little lighter than Earth. The air smelled different too, like flowers mixed with metal. Alien writing covered the walls in a dozen different languages. A group of beings waited for them. Lisa recognized some from Amy's files. A tall Vorthik with 6 arms stood in the center, wearing robes covered in symbols. Beside him was a Ketharai warrior in black armor, and a small Velkon with large eyes and quick movements. "I am Chancellor Zexhai of the Vorthik," the tall alien said. Its voice was deep and musical. "I speak for the Galactic Council. You are the humans?" Lisa stepped forward and bowed slightly, the way Amy had taught her. "I am Ambassador Lisa Martinez, representing Earth and all humanity. We are honored to meet you." The Chancellor's 6 arms moved in, what might have been a greeting. "You bring gifts?" "We do." Lisa gestured Tony, who opened a case. Inside were samples of human art, music recordings, and scientific data. "These represent the best of human culture and knowledge. We offer them freely as a sign of friendship." The Kethari warrior leaned forward. Its armor was covered in scars, and its eyes glowed red. "What weapons do you possess, humans?" The question surprised Lisa. We have defensive capabilities, but we came here to talk, not fight." The warrior made a sound that might have been laughter. "Everything fights, human. Even the smallest creatures defend themselves." Chancellor Zexhai raised one arm for silence. "We will examine your gifts and consider your request. The Council will meet in 3 days to decide humanities status. Until then, you will remain in the guest quarters." Lisa felt a chill. "Status? We hope to discuss joining the Council as equals." "Equals?" The Velquan spoke for the first time, its voice high and quick. "New species must prove themselves worthy. You control one small system. The Council governs thousands." "We understand. We are new to galactic civilization," Lisa said carefully. "But Earth offers much. Our sciences, our arts, our willingness to learn and grow alongside other species." The Chancellor's 4 eyes studied her for a long moment. "Perhaps we shall see what the Council decides. For now, you are guests here. Welcome to Nexus Prime, humans of Earth." As they were led away to their quarters, Lisa felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Humanity's future in the galaxy would be decided in the next few days. She only hoped Earth's peaceful approach would be enough. Brian Brooks watched the sunrise over New Denver from his office window. The red star of Kepler 442 painted the sky in shades of orange and pink that reminded him of Earth sunsets. 6 months had passed since the colony ships first landed, and the settlement was growing fast. "Morning report," said Kate Sullivan, walking into his office. The security chief looked tired, but she always did these days. Keeping 2,000 colonists safe was hard work. "The quantum crystal mines are ahead of schedule. Tony Chun says the new farming plots will be ready next week." Ryan smiled. "Good news for once. How are the families settling in?" "Better than expected. The kids love the low gravity. Helen Carter says her students are learning faster than ever." Kate sat down and pulled up her tablet. "But we've got ship signatures on the long-range sensors. 3 vessels heading this way." Ryan's smile faded. "Ours? No. The energy patterns don't match any human ship design." Kate's fingers moved over her tablet. "They'll be here in about 6 hours. New Denver was humanity's newest colony world. The planet had good air, clean water, and rich soil perfect for growing food. Best of all, the deep caves held quantum crystals, the rare minerals needed to power faster than light drives. Earth needed those crystals badly. Ryan walked to his communication station. "Get me Maria Rodriguez in the mining complex." The engineer's face appeared on the screen. Her clothes were dirty from working in the tunnels, but she was smiling. "Ryan, you should see how much crystal we pulled out today. Earth will be so happy. Maria, we might have visitors coming. Unknown ships. How quickly can you shut down the mining operation?" Her smile disappeared. "Unknown? You mean aliens?" "Maybe. Just be ready." Ryan switched to another channel. "Bill. Turner, are you there?" The farm manager's weather-beaten face filled the screen. He was standing in one of the new crop fields, where earth plants grew tall in the alien soil. "Right here, boss. What's the problem?" "Possible contact situation. Keep everyone close to the settlement." Bill nodded. "Will do. These plants can wait." Ryan closed the channel and looked at Kate. "What's our defensive position?" Kate pulled up a map of New Denver. "We've got basic shields around the main settlement. Some mining equipment that could work as weapons if we had to. But Ryan, we're farmers and miners, not soldiers." "I know." Ryan had hoped they would never need to think about defense. The Galactic Council was supposed to keep peace in this part of space. Kepler 442 was an unclaimed territory, far from any council world. The hours crawled by. Ryan tried to keep busy with normal colony business, but his mind kept drifting to the approaching ships. Finally, Kate's voice crackled over the communication system. "They're here." Ryan rushed to the command center. On the main screen, 3 alien vessels hung in space above New Denver. They were bigger than human ships, with sharp angles and weapon ports that looked very unfriendly. "Any communication?" Ryan asked. "They're scanning us," said Lieutenant Dan. "Foster from the sensor station. Full spectrum. They're learning everything about our settlement." The communication board chimed. Kate activated it, and an alien face appeared on screen. The creature had red skin, 4 arms, and eyes that glowed like fire. When it spoke, the translation computer turned its growling words into English. "Primitive. Humans, you trespass on Cathari territory. You will leave immediately." Ryan stepped forward. "This is Colony Administrator Ryan Brooks. We're in unclaimed space, according to all galactic charts. This system belongs to no one." The alien's eyes flared brighter. "All space belongs to the strong. You are weak. You will leave, or we will make you leave. We're peaceful colonists. We have families here, children. We're not bothering anyone. You take what is ours. The crystals belong to Cathari." Ryan felt cold anger growing in his chest. "We've been here 6 months. You show up now and claim ownership? That's not how civilized beings behave." The alien made a sound like breaking glass. "Civilized? You know nothing of civilization, human. You have 1 day to pack your belongings and leave. After that, we will remove you." The screen went dark. Kate stared at the blank display. "Can they do that? Just claim a whole system?" "I don't know." Ryan called up the communication station. "Get me Earth. Emergency channel." It took 20 minutes for the message to travel across space to Earth. 20 more minutes for the reply to come back. President Rachel Kim's voice was clear but worried. "Ryan, we're checking the legal situation with the Council. Stand firm. But don't provoke them. Help is on the way." But help was months away, and the Cathari had given them 1 day. At night, Ryan couldn't sleep. He walked through New Denver's quiet streets, past houses where families slept peacefully. Children's toys lay scattered in yards. Gardens grew in neat rows. The colonists had built a real home here. In the morning, Kate found him in the command center, staring at the tactical display. "The HFY ships are moving," she said, "coming into orbit. Any word from Earth?" "The Council is investigating our claim. They want both sides to present evidence." Kate's voice was bitter. "That could take months." The communication board chimed again. This time, a different alien appeared on screen. This one wore fancy robes covered in symbols. "I am Trade Minister Vexilon of the Volquan. We offer to buy your claim to this system. Fair price, quick transaction, no violence needed." Ryan shook his head. "This isn't for sale. These people's homes aren't for sale. Everything is for sale at the right price," the alien said smoothly. "Consider our offer. It's better than the alternative." Before Ryan could answer, the screen changed. The HFY warrior was back, and this time he wasn't talking. Energy beams lanced down from space, striking the mining complex. Maria Rodriguez's voice screamed over the radio as explosions rocked the tunnels. "They're firing on us. The whole complex is collapsing." "Fall back," Ryan shouted into his microphone. "Everyone get to the shelters." More beams struck the settlement. The school where Helen Carter taught exploded in a ball of fire. The medical center where Dr. Sarah Miller treated sick children vanished in smoke and flame. Kate grabbed Ryan's arm. "We have to evacuate," but there was nowhere to go. The colony ships that brought them here were gone, returned to Earth for more colonists. The HFY ships surrounded the planet, cutting off any escape. The attack lasted for 6 hours. When it ended, New Denver was a smoking ruin. 8,000 colonists were dead, including children who had been playing in the streets that morning. The survivors huddled in emergency shelters, wondering why the galaxy's peacekeepers had allowed this to happen. Bill Turner found Ryan in the ruins of the command center. The old farmer's face was black with smoke, and tears cut clean lines down his cheeks. "My grandson was in that school," he said quietly. 7 years old? Ryan had no words. He looked up at the alien ships still hanging in orbit like vultures. On his communication screen, a message waited from the Galactic Council. It was very polite and formal. "The Council recognizes the territorial dispute between the HFY Empire and human colonists. Both parties are requested to present their cases at the next Council session in 3 months. Until then, the system is declared a disputed territory under Council protection." Protection. 8,000 dead humans, and the Council called it protection. Kate stood beside him, her security uniform torn and bloody from helping wounded colonists. "What do we tell Earth?" Ryan looked at the message again, and at the ruins of their peaceful colony. "We tell them the truth. The galaxy doesn't work the way we thought it did." He activated the long-range transmitter with shaking hands. In 40 minutes, Earth would learn that peace wasn't enough to protect human lives. The universe was not the friendly place they had hoped to find in space above them. The HFY ships waited patiently for the survivors to finish burying their dead. Then they would claim the quantum crystals and move on to their next conquest, confident that the Galactic Council would do nothing to stop them. After all, the strong took what they wanted. That was how civilization really worked among the stars. Ryan began recording his message to Earth, knowing that everything was about to change. President Rachel Kim stood in the White House Situation Room, watching the recorded message from New Denver for the 3rd time. Ryan Brooks' face filled the screen, covered in ash and blood, his voice breaking as he described the massacre. 8,000 dead, Madam President. They targeted the school first, then the hospital. They wanted to kill civilians, not soldiers. Rachel closed her eyes. When she opened them, Admiral Stephen Parker was watching her with grim understanding. The old soldier had been warning about this possibility for months. "Your recommendations, Admiral?" Stephen pulled up a holographic display showing human space. Dozens of colonies glowed blue, scattered across 50 star systems. All of them vulnerable. All of them defenseless against alien attack. We activate the Terra Defense Initiative immediately. Every shipyard, every factory, every resource we have goes to military production. We build a fleet that can protect our people. Rachel nodded slowly. She had hoped never to give this order. Do it. How long do we have? If they hit our other colonies the same way. Weeks, maybe days? Stephen touched controls on the display. But if we're talking about building a real defense force, we need at least 2 years. Then we'd better get started. Within hours, emergency orders went out across human space. Dr. Amanda Hayes received her new assignment while working late in her research lab. The communication came directly from the president's office. Dr. Hayes, effective immediately, you are the head of the Prometheus Research Division. Your job is to build weapons that can kill aliens. You have unlimited funding and complete authority. Make them pay for what they did. Amanda stared at the message. She had spent her career developing peaceful technology, engines for colony ships and computers for scientific research. Now they wanted her to build instruments of war. She thought about the children who had died at New Denver and picked up her phone. Carl Thompson? It's Amanda Hayes. Drop everything you're working on. We have a new project. Carl had been designing cargo ships for civilian use. His engineering skills were legendary throughout human space. What kind of project? Warships. The biggest, deadliest warships humanity has ever built. There was silence on the line. Then Carl's voice came back, hard as steel. When do we start? The transformation began immediately. Mars Colony, under Governor Nick Johnson, converted its entire industrial base to military production. Peaceful mining operations became weapons factories. The orbital shipyards that once built exploration vessels now churned out destroyers and cruisers. We're building them as fast as we can, Nick reported to Earth. But the aliens have a 1,000-year head start on us. That was where Diana Walsh came in. The weapons specialist had been studying alien technology captured from crashed scout ships. Her laboratory deep under the Rocky Mountains became humanity's secret weapon development center. Their shields work differently than ours, she explained to Amanda during a secure video call. They're designed to stop energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. But they have weaknesses. What kind of weaknesses? Diana smiled, and it wasn't a pleasant expression. They've never fought humans before. They don't know how we think, how we fight. They expect us to follow their rules. Meanwhile, Ambassador Lisa Martinez returned to Earth a changed woman. The diplomatic mission she had led with such hope now seemed like ancient history. The gentle negotiator who had tried to make friends with the galaxy was gone, replaced by someone harder. They played us, she told the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The whole time, they were laughing at us. They think peace is weakness. General Pete Davis leaned forward. What's your assessment of their military capabilities? Superior to ours in most ways. Better ships, better weapons, better shields. But they're arrogant. They've been the top predators for so long, they've forgotten how to be afraid. Lisa pulled up intelligence files gathered during her stay on Nexus Prime. The Council species don't really cooperate. They compete with each other constantly. The Cathari think they're the strongest. The Velkorn only care about profit. The Vorthik believe they're the smartest. And their weaknesses? They've never faced a species like us. They fight alone, each species for itself. We fight together. In the depths of space, Lucy Stone's stealth ship drifted near a Cathari supply convoy. The intelligence operative had volunteered for the most dangerous job in human space, spying on the aliens who had murdered their children. Her ship was invisible to alien sensors, built using new technology that Diana Walsh had developed. Lucy watched the convoy through her instruments, recording everything she saw. "This is Ghost One," she whispered into her radio. "I count 12 cargo ships, 4 escorts. They're heading for the Rigel system." The convoy carried weapons and supplies for more Cathari attacks on human colonies. Lucy's job was to follow them, learn their patterns, and report back to Earth. But as she watched the ships that had probably carried the weapons used at New Denver, she felt a cold rage building inside her. "Ghost One, this is Command," came the reply. "Maintain observation. Do not engage. Understood." But Lucy's hand moved to her weapons controls. Soon, she promised herself. Soon these aliens would learn what it felt like to be hunted. Back on Earth, the industrial transformation continued at breakneck speed. Engineer Bobby Clark supervised the conversion of civilian shipyards to military use. Dr. Janet Moore organized medical facilities to treat wounded soldiers. Every human colony contributed resources and personnel to the growing war effort. The first new warship rolled out of the yard 6 months after New Denver. The UE's retribution was everything Carl Thompson had promised: fast, deadly, and built for one purpose. Captain Frank Miller took command of the vessel, leading a crew trained specifically for war against aliens. "She's beautiful," Admiral Parker said, watching the ship's maiden voyage. "How many more?" 50 in production, with plans for 200 more, Carl replied. Each one better than the last. But building ships was only part of the solution. Humanity needed crews who could fight in space, soldiers who understood alien tactics, and commanders who could think like warriors instead of explorers. That was where Captain Eddie Thompson came in. The former exploration pilot had studied every piece of alien combat footage Earth possessed. His new job was training human pilots to fight in space battles. "Forget everything you know about flying," he told his first class of students. "Aliens fight in straight lines, rigid formations. They're predictable. We're going to be chaos with engines." Commander Anna Price worked with fighter squadrons, developing new tactics based on human advantages. Humans were smaller and faster than most aliens. Human pilots could handle higher G-forces and make quicker decisions. "We can't match their firepower ship for ship," she explained to her pilots. "But we can outthink them, outmaneuver them, and outfight them where it counts." The transformation wasn't just military. Human society itself was changing. The peaceful exploration mindset that had guided humanity to the stars was being replaced by something harder and more determined. Children in schools learned about the New Denver massacre alongside reading and math. Art and music reflected humanity's new understanding of the galaxy. The innocent hope of first contact was dead, replaced by the grim knowledge that survival required strength. Dr. Amy Foster, who had once studied alien cultures to find common ground, now analyzed enemy weaknesses for military intelligence. "They don't understand us," she reported. "They think we're just another species they can bully into submission." "Are they right?" asked General Davis. Amy's smile was sharp as a blade. "They're about to find out how wrong they are." 2 years after the massacre, Admiral Parker stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, looking out at the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. 200 warships hung in space around Earth, each one crewed by humans who remembered New Denver. The peaceful species that had begged for acceptance into galactic civilization was gone. In its place stood something the galaxy had never seen before: humans who had chosen war over peace and who had the industrial might to make that choice matter. "All ships report ready," Captain Miller announced. Parker nodded. "Set course for Nexus Prime. It's time to show the Council what happens when you shed human blood." The fleet moved out, leaving Earth behind. When they returned, the galaxy would be a very different place. The age of human patience was over. Now it was time for the warships to speak. Admiral Stephen Parker stood on the bridge of the UES, Retribution as the human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Council space. 200 warships spread out in formation, their hulls gleaming with fresh armor and new weapons. Long-range sensors are picking up everything, reported Lieutenant Sam Taylor from his station. Nexus Prime has over 300 ships in orbit, mix of different species. Parker studied the tactical display. Each dot of light represented an alien vessel, and there were a lot of them. But numbers weren't everything. The humans had learned that lesson well. Captain Miller, signal the fleet. Formation Beta. Let's show them we know how to make an entrance. Captain Frank Miller smiled grimly. Yes, sir. All ships, Formation Beta. Follow the flagship's lead. The human fleet moved like a single creature. Unlike alien formations that stayed in rigid lines, the human ships flowed like water, each vessel supporting the others. It was a formation designed by humans who had studied every alien battle recording they could find. On the planet below, emergency signals flashed across Nexus Prime. The capital of galactic civilization had never seen a fleet approach like this. Alien species that had dismissed humans as peaceful farmers suddenly faced an armada that moved with deadly purpose. Chancellor Zix-Hai of the Vorthik stood in the council chambers, his 6 arms trembling as he watched the human fleet on the main display. Around him, representatives from 12 species argued in panic. They cannot attack the capital. Screeched Trade Minister Vexilon of the Velquan. This is neutral territory. War Commander Thikarin of the Cathari slammed his armored fist on the table. Let them come. Our ships will crush these weak humans. But there was fear in his glowing red eyes. The human ships didn't look weak. They looked like predators. Aboard the Retribution, communication signals flooded in from Nexus Prime. Demands, threats, and desperate attempts at negotiation filled the radio channels. Parker ignored them all. Dr. Hayes, are the new systems ready? He asked. Dr. Amanda Hayes looked up from her console. The research chief had spent 2 years developing humanity's secret weapons. All ships report systems green. The aliens are about to get a very unpleasant surprise. The surprise was adaptive technology. Unlike alien ships that were built for one purpose, human vessels could change their capabilities in the middle of battle. Shields could become weapons. Sensors could become jammers. Even cargo ships could suddenly sprout missile launchers. Commander Anna Price led the carrier group from her ship, the U.E.'s Freedom. Her fighter squadrons were already launching, small craft that moved faster than anything aliens had ever seen. Human pilots, who grew up playing video games and flying in atmosphere, had advantages that aliens born in zero gravity couldn't match. Hawk Squadron, this is Price. Remember your training. Fast, unpredictable, and deadly. Show them what human pilots can do. Copy that, Commander? Came the reply from Squadron Leader Jake Roberts. We're locked and ready to dance. Captain Eddie. Thompson commanded the stealth ships, vessels that used new technology to become nearly invisible. His squadron had been practicing hit-and-run tactics for months, learning to strike like ghosts and disappear before the enemy could respond. Phantom Squadron ready, he reported. We've got clear shots at their command ships. Parker watched. The alien fleet beginning to move toward them. 300 ships against 200. The aliens probably thought they had an advantage. They were wrong. All ships, this is Admiral Parker. Today, we speak for every human who died at New Denver. Today, we speak for every child they murdered. Let the galaxy hear humanity's voice. The battle began when a Keferi heavy cruiser fired. First, sending energy beams racing toward the human fleet. But the beams struck empty space. The human ships had already moved, flowing around the attack like water around a stone. Return fire, Parker ordered. The Retribution's main guns spoke with a voice of thunder. But these weren't ordinary weapons. Dr. Hayes had designed them specifically to punch through alien shields. The quantum plasma bolts hit the Cathari cruiser and tore it apart in seconds. All across the battle zone, human weapons proved their worth. While alien ships fired predictable energy beams, human vessels used kinetic rounds, plasma charges, and missile swarms that adapted to enemy defenses. Wing. Commander Sam Rodriguez led his fighter squadrons into the heart of the alien formation. The small human craft darted between massive alien ships like angry wasps, their pilots using reflexes trained in Earth's atmosphere and deadly games. This is Rodriguez. We're inside their formation. These big ships can't track us. The aliens had built their fighters for space combat, but human pilots grew up flying through clouds and storms. They could think in 3 dimensions, while aliens stuck to flat battle planes. Captain Julie Adams commanded the missile cruisers, ships that could launch hundreds of guided projectiles in seconds. Each missile had a human-built brain that could think for itself, changing targets and tactics based on what it encountered. Missile impact in 5, 4, 3, ... Julie counted down as her weapons found their targets. Alien ships that had never faced adaptive munitions discovered that their shields couldn't stop weapons that learned and evolved during flight. But the real shock came when Bobby Clark's converted cargo ships joined the battle. What looked like harmless supply vessels suddenly opened hidden weapon bays, revealing massive guns that had been disguised as storage containers. Surprise! Bobby laughed as his fake cargo ship destroyed an alien destroyer. Hope you like our gift packages. The aliens tried to fight back using their traditional tactics. They formed straight battle lines and fired their biggest guns in coordinated volleys. It should have worked against any normal enemy, but humans weren't normal. They had learned to fight by studying the galaxy's deadliest predators, themselves. Human warfare was chaos made deadly, and no alien species had ever faced anything like it. Dr. Janet Moore coordinated medical support from the fleet's hospital ships. But there were fewer human casualties than anyone had expected. The aliens were fighting the battle they knew how to fight, while humans were fighting a completely different war. Their formations are breaking apart, reported Captain Miller. They don't know how to respond to our tactics. Parker watched the tactical display with satisfaction. Alien ships that had dominated the galaxy for centuries were being outfought by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The Vorthak Chancellor appeared on the communication screen, his 6 arms waving frantically. Admiral Parker, we demand an immediate ceasefire. This attack violates all galactic laws. Parker's face was stone. You violated the law when you let the Cathari murder our children. You violated the law when you called it a territorial dispute. You want to talk law? Here's human law. You shed our blood, we shed yours. But the council is done. Parker cut the transmission. Captain Terry Williams led the boarding parties onto captured alien ships. His Marines were trained specifically for fighting in enclosed spaces against creatures that were bigger and stronger than humans. But humans were smarter, faster, and much more vicious when their families were threatened. Ship secured, Terry reported from the bridge of a captured Velquan cruiser. These traitors didn't expect anyone to actually board their vessels. The battle raged for 6 hours. When it ended, the once mighty Council fleet was scattered wreckage floating in space. Of the 300 alien ships that had defended Nexus Prime, less than 50 remained intact. The human fleet had lost 12 vessels. Parker opened communication channels to the planet below. This is Admiral Parker of the Earth Defense Fleet. The Galactic Council is dissolved. Any species that wishes to discuss terms may contact us. Any species that threatens human colonies will be destroyed. Chancellor X-High's voice was barely a whisper. You cannot simply dissolve the council. We have governed the galaxy for thousands of years. You govern through fear and weakness. Now there's a new power in the galaxy. We tried peace. You chose war. This is the result. The surrender came in pieces. First the Velquan, always quick to see which way profit flowed. Then the smaller species who had been bullied by the Council for centuries. Even some Vorthak colonies began declaring independence from their ancient government. The Kethari fought to the end, their warrior culture unable to accept defeat. But when their home fleet was destroyed and their worlds faced human occupation, even they had to admit the war was over. Standing on the bridge of the Retribution, Admiral Parker looked out at the wreckage of galactic civilization, the galaxies. Balance of power had shifted in a single day. Humanity had gone from begging for acceptance to demanding obedience. "Signal Earth," he told his communication officer. "Tell them the war is over. Tell them we won." But even as he spoke, Parker knew. This was just the beginning. Winning the war was easy compared to what came next. Building a galaxy where children could grow up safe, where peace was protected by strength, and where no species would ever again mistake human kindness for human weakness. The age of the Council was over. The age of humanity had begun. 1 year after the Battle of Nexus Prime, Ambassador Lisa Martinez walked through the rebuilt streets of New Denver. The colony that had been destroyed by Kithari weapons now stood stronger than before, its buildings made of materials that could withstand orbital bombardment. Children played in the parks where bombs had once fallen. Human children ran alongside young aliens from a dozen different species, all of them laughing in the same universal language. But overhead, the UES Retribution maintained its watchful orbit, a reminder that peace required protection. "It's beautiful," said Chancellor Zexhai, walking beside her. The former ruler of the galaxy now served as an advisor to the new Terran Protectorate. His 6 arms moved nervously as he watched the mixed groups of children playing together. "This is what we wanted from the beginning," Lisa replied. "Not conquest, not empire. Just a place where different species could live together safely." But safety had come at a price. The galaxy was very different now. Colonel Terry Williams stood in the command center of the occupied Kethari homeworld. The proud warrior species that had started the war now lived under human military rule. Their ships were scrapped, their weapons destroyed, and their young warriors learned new trades instead of combat. "Status report," Terry asked his aide, Lieutenant Dan Foster. "Production is up 15% this month. The Kethari are adapting to civilian work faster than expected. Some of them actually seemed ... happier." It was true. Without the constant pressure to prove themselves in battle, many Kethari had discovered talents they never knew they had. Former warriors became engineers, artists, and teachers. The species that had lived for war was learning to live for peace, but not all of them were happy about it. "Sir, we've got another protest in Sector 7, Dan reported. About 50 Kethari demanding the return of their warrior heritage. Terry sighed. "Send Captain Adams with a negotiation team. Remind them that their warrior heritage got 8,000 humans killed. If they want to fight something, they can fight hunger and disease in the outer systems." The transformation wasn't limited to the Kethari. Across the galaxy, the old order was being replaced by something new. The Velquan found that honest trade was more profitable than the corrupt deals they had made under the Council. The Vorthak discovered that their ancient wisdom was more valued when it served justice. Instead of privileged Dr. Amanda Hayes worked in her new laboratory on Nexus Prime, which had become the capital of the Terran Protectorate. But instead of building weapons, she was developing the technology needed to rebuild civilizations. "The atmospheric processors for the Helix colonies are ready for testing," she reported to Admiral Parker during their weekly meeting. "The medical scanners for the Velquan trade routes will be finished next month. Parker nodded. What about the defense grid? Fully operational. Any ship that approaches human space without permission will be detected and stopped. Amanda's voice was calm, but there was steel beneath it. We're never going to be caught defenseless again. The defense grid was humanity's insurance policy, a network of automated weapons platforms and sensor stations that surrounded every human world. But more than that, it was a promise. Attack humanity and face the consequences. Captain Frank Miller commanded the Retribution on its patrol route through former Council space. The great warship had become a symbol of human power, appearing wherever there was trouble and reminding everyone that the Terran Protectorate had the strength to enforce its will. Message coming in from the Rigel system reported his communication. Officer, the local governor is requesting assistance with refugee resettlement. Set course for Rigel, Frank ordered. Let's see what we can do to help. That was the other side of human power, the willingness to help those who couldn't help themselves. The species that had once been prey for Council predators now lived under human protection. It wasn't charity. It was good policy. Happy allies made strong allies. Lucy Stone's intelligence network had evolved from a wartime necessity into a peacetime reality. Her agents monitored the galaxy for signs of trouble, but they also gathered information about trade opportunities, scientific discoveries, and cultural exchange. Report from the Outer Rim, Lucy told Admiral Parker during a secure communication. 3 former Council species have requested admission to the Protectorate. They're offering resource rights in exchange for defense guarantees. Recommendations? Accept them, but with the usual conditions. No weapons of mass destruction, no slave trade, and full cooperation with Protectorate law. Parker approved the requests with a few keystrokes. The Terran Protectorate was growing steadily, not through conquest, but through voluntary membership. Species joined because they saw what humanity offered: protection, prosperity, and justice. But not everyone was happy with the new order. Commander Anna Price led her fighter squadron on patrol near the edge of Protectorate space when her sensors detected something troubling. A group of ships moving in formation, heading toward a human colony world. Unknown vessels, this is Commander Price of the Terran Protectorate. Identify yourselves and state your business. The reply came in the harsh tones of the Kethari language. We are the Free Claws, loyal to the old ways. We do not recognize human authority. Anna's blood ran cold. Free Claws were Kethari rebels who refused to accept the new peace. They raided isolated settlements and attacked merchant ships, trying to restart the war that their species had lost. Free Claws vessels, you are in violation of Protectorate space. Turn back immediately or face the consequences. The only consequence will be your death, human. The rebel ships opened fire, their weapons targeting Anna's fighters. But these weren't the disciplined Kethari warriors of the old fleet. These were desperate fanatics flying outdated ships with improvised weapons. Anna's pilots responded with the precision of 2 years' training. Human fighters danced between enemy fire, their adaptive weapons finding weak points in rebel shields. The battle was over in minutes. This is Price to all Protectorate forces. Anna broadcast on the emergency channel. Free Claws engagement in Sector 12. All hostiles destroyed. No human casualties. The message reached Admiral Parker on Nexus. Prime within minutes. He studied the tactical report with growing concern. The Free Claws were becoming bolder, and their attacks were getting closer to major population centers. Double the patrols, he ordered, and send a message to the Kethari government. If they can't control the rebels, we'll do it for them. The threat worked. Within days, Kethari security forces began hunting down Free Claws cells across their territory. The former warriors who had chosen peace over war proved very effective at stopping those who couldn't make the same choice. But the incident reminded everyone that peace was fragile. It had to be earned every day, protected every hour, and defended whenever necessary. Governor Nick Johnson oversaw the completion of humanity's greatest project, the memorial at New Denver. 8,000 names were carved into black stone, each representing a life lost to galactic politics. But surrounding the memorial were schools, hospitals, and parks where thousands of children from dozens of species learned and played together. They didn't die for nothing, Nick said to the crowd gathered for the dedication ceremony. They died so that no child, human or alien, would ever again face what they faced. Ambassador Lisa Martinez gave the closing speech, standing where Colony Administrator Ryan Brooks had once watched alien ships approach his peaceful settlement. "We came to the galaxy in peace," she said, her voice carrying across the crowd and broadcast to every world and protectorate space. "We offered friendship and received violence. We offered cooperation and received conquest. So we gave the galaxy a choice: accept our peace or face our war." She gestured to the mixed crowd of humans and aliens listening to her words. Today, most of the galaxy has chosen peace. But for those who still believe might makes right, who think the strong can prey upon the weak, we have a simple message. Lisa looked up at the retribution, visible as a bright star in the afternoon sky. Humanity remembers New Denver. We remember our children. And we promise that such a thing will never happen again. Not to us. Not to anyone under our protection. Council shed blood and called it politics. Earth tried peace and was answered with war. So we let our warships speak, and the galaxy listened. Today, we speak with one voice: human, Velquan, Helix, Vorthek, and even Cathari, who have chosen to join us. We speak for the children playing in these parks, for the families building new homes, for the scientists making discoveries that will benefit everyone. We speak for peace, but we are ready for war. The ceremony ended with a moment of silence for the dead, followed by the laughter of children playing in the New Denver gardens. Above them all, the Retribution continued its endless patrol. A guardian angel with fusion engines and quantum weapons, the galaxy had learned to respect humanity's voice of peace. But it also remembered the voice of their warships, and the lessons learned when humans stopped asking for acceptance and started demanding respect. In the end, that was perhaps humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, not just the strength to enforce peace, but the wisdom to know when peace was worth fighting for. The age of the Galactic Council was over. The age of the Terran Protectorate had begun, and in parks across 100 war,